Ben's got a creaky chair.
Hello,
Oh,
ladies
have
and
I?
gentlemen of the internet, and welcome to another episode of Polyhedron Collider Plays D&D. So, in a change to our schedule, we'll be online with the Champions of Chance tonight rather than the Masters of Fate because, well, they're losers and they couldn't make it. And they're not here to defend themselves, so... So you may have noticed, if you're looking at the feed, that we're a man down because Haval is off away on important paladin business for the foreseeable future. So we'll just have to muddle through as best we can. So the remainder of us, we have Paul Ralph as Cenza the Cleric. We have Ben Hopper as Benjin the Barbarian. We've got myself as Zanhorn the Bard, and most importantly, as ever, our benevolent DM, Steve. So, Steve, if you'd like to step into the torchlight and once again resume our story.
Okay, so in the last few sessions, you visited the farming city of Golden Fields, where you were you were chasing the route of a stolen obelisk. It had been stolen by a bunch of cloud giants, and you were thinking the cloud giant castle was heading roughly in that direction. And you were also going to Golden Fields to ask the druids for help in sorting out the crops of Nightstone, which is the village where the said obelisk was stolen from. While there, the city had previously had an attack which damaged the walls, and everyone in the city was kind of like, it's all right, they won't be back. Funnily enough, they came back with a small army of bugbears, goblins, and ogres, and you bravely fought them off, along with two hill giants, which you negotiated with to save the town, and once you'd start to turn the tide, they all scattered and dispersed. In doing that, you have been told by Z Lang, who is a a monk who is in Golden Fields, that you are worthy of her inheritance and has passed you on the key to her inheritance to basically cash in Waterdeep. And at the same time, Golden Fields resident wizard from the Mages and Protectorates Guild has informed you that dragons are the key and the Lord's Alliance should make an alliance with dragons, and gives you a suggestion of someone to meet in Waterdeep to discuss the options to go with dragons. So you decided, rather than head north in the chase after the Cloud Giant Castle, to head back to Waterdeep to cash in these two little quests, and you also decided that you wish to go shopping, I think was the exact phrase.
Yep, it's the dreaded shopping episode.
At this time, your paladin companion, Haval, bids you farewell as he is going to make his way to Helm's Hold, which is the kind of the fortress of paladins in the local area, and he's going to spread the word there of giant attacks and the possible danger that the rest of the Sword Coast is in.
Yikes.
So when we left you guys, you were all prepping to head off to Waterdeep, and you were basically looking at your options of how to basically get back there. There was basically two options. There is a trail. It's not really, you can't really call it a road. It's not been paved, but it's what the caravans travel between Waterdeep and Golden Fields, and that's called the North Furrow, which leads direct from Golden Fields direct to Waterdeep. The other option was to take a keel boat from the Desserin River, but that would involve getting to the Desserin River first and then paying for passage on a keel boat. It would probably be slower, it would cost you money, but you wouldn't have to do anything. So basically, it roughly take you probably 5 days in total to take the keel boat, and since you're on horseback, it would take you just under 4 days, so 3.5 days to get there via horseback.
Well, we've got months before the bad stuff happens. We know that because we've seen the future. We've had it on good authority from the gods. So Zanhorn can't see the harm in just taking the boat.
No, it would certainly be an interesting experience.
And who knows, there might be some stories from a nice aquatic adventure.
Indeed.
Benjin's kind of Still in a bit of a daze from almost being killed, so I don't think he cares at the moment.
Okay, so you're heading south to the Desrin River and then catching a keelboat, which is often used to transport goods. On the basis that you have horses with you, it will cost me money to travel and look after the horses on such keelboats. And the ferryman wishes to charge you 3 gold pieces apiece for the journey.
That seems
Before
a little steep, considering the services that we've performed to the region. I'm sure you could make some sort of allowance for us.
This man has no idea who you are. He's basically been sitting at this boat. He has no idea what's happened at Golden Fields and thinks you're telling a bit of a tall tale.
Well, no doubt word will reach you. And we've kept the surrounding area, the waterways, free from trouble. Have you experienced much trouble recently?
He kind of looks around and he goes, well, there has been dragon sightings. And I don't know why this river's lower than it usually is this time of year, so travel's been a bit more difficult.
Well, we sent one of those dragons packing off north, so, you're welcome.
Oh, he looks you up and down and kind of takes a good look at you. You can see he's focusing on your weapons. He goes, well, it would help to have guards, I suppose. 2 gold pieces apiece.
You drive a very hard bargain. But I think we could probably accept that. And Zanhorn looks back at the other guys.
One day I'll figure out an accent as good as that for Benjin.
I sort of picture it being quite gruff somehow.
Me? Gruff.
His accent.
So the travel on the keelboat itself is slow but gradual.
2 gold, sorry.
Yeah, 2 gold pieces apiece.
2 gold, okay.
2 gold each.
2 gold.
It's slow but gradual. And you kind of plod along down the Desrin River. It is pretty evident as well that the water, as the manager of the boat said, that the water level on the Desrin River is lower than it would normally be. You can see, the sides of the bank where the bare earth is, where the water level would usually be. But first couple of days are pretty uneventful, and you don't see much. You're kind of protected in a way because it's quite a reasonably big river. This river goes most of the way up the Sword Coast, to be fair.
Okay, as we're going down, and as I now have access to Ascending Spell, I would like to send a message to the Masters of Fate, probably that Jackass Arrakis, and just inform them of the giant menace to the Sword Coast. So just to keep them up to date.
Okay.
And any leftover sending spells I have, which are 2 a day, I'm just going to sing, I know a song that'll get on your nerves, get on your nerves, get on your nerves. Just constantly in Arrakis' head, just whenever I feel like it.
Sandhorn's going to high-five you. Genius.
Benjin's forgotten his tablets again.
Go get the dried
every week.
Dried frog pills, off you go.
So you, as I said, it's kind of halfway through the kind of second day, and you approach like the landscape builds up to a bunch of hills which the Desrin River winds through. It's quite deep. It's on the second day that you notice quite quickly by the big splosh in the water ahead of you that on a distant hill there are a couple of hill giants, much as you've seen the last day, and they've spotted you and have started throwing rocks at you.
Here we go again, boys.
Here you go.
The ship's captain, as it were, kind of gets everyone onto the oars and says, basically, If you can get on the oars, we can get a bit faster and get away from these. Unless you want to get out and fight them. I don't know. There are 3 of them.
3 of them, 3 of us.
That's,
I'm not
yeah.
loving those odds.
We don't have a superpowered elk to help us.
Oh no!
Patches.
Did he not leave us patches?
I think Patches goes where Haval goes.
Oh, whose eyes am I going to see through now?
If you'd all like to make a athletics check. So I take it you're all getting onto the oars and giving it a good go.
Keeping an eye on whether there's going to be a boulder that we need to dodge out of the way of, but yes. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Cenza's a born rower, clearly, with a roll like 3. Whoa!
Oh.
Just give me 2 oars.
Well, yeah, basically, Cenza is like pushing down, and Benjin just grabs 2 oars, just powers the boat forward, and everyone else is just like, "Whoa, okay."
We can't keep up.
It's not long before you've got far enough away that the hill giants appear to get bored and start throwing rocks at something else that you can't see. So the boat, rather than dock on the riverside, what the boat does is it goes at the ship's captain explains to you that if the sea is calm, he will actually row into the docks of Waterdeep. But if they're rough, he will drop you off at the estuary of the Desserin River. Mm-hmm. And you're lucky because it seems to be that it's a calm day at Waterdeep. So he rows out of the estuary of the Desserin River and around into the docks of Waterdeep.
Okay.
You have you're met with the usual what you know as the Waterdeep, what you've been to, the docks you're well aware of, the hustle and bustle straight away, the crowds, but you are forced to hold dock for some time, and there seems to be a lot of guards milling around, stopping you from getting in and out of the ship for some time. And you just have to wait until the Waterdeep guards allow you off. And then when you allow you off, a group of guards basically act as like border patrol at the galley. And say names and business.
The heroes of Waterdeep.
One kind of looks over his notes at you and goes, "Right. I'll still need your names and I'll still need your business."
Zanhorn will take a deep bow and say, "Zanhorn, at your pleasure."
Business?
Why, to entertain, of course.
One of them. Okay. Can you pay for your food and lodgings while you're here?
Obviously.
Okay, you have enough on you?
Of course.
And you too?
Cenza Ykril, servant of the god of knowledge. I seek wisdom and, knowledge.
Okay. Can you afford your pay? You pay to stay while you're here, or do you have somewhere to stay?
I'm sure I can find somewhere to stay.
Okay. And you, the big hairy one?
Benjin Banhog. I look at Zanhorn, look back at him, and just go, Forrester.
And you're not going to sleep rough on the streets, are you? Can you afford an inn for the evening?
I can afford an inn.
All right then.
Is there some sort of problem?
A few moments. Well, it might not be obvious, but we've got a sudden influx of people into the city, and we are ensuring that everyone has got places to stay. We don't want to overload the resources. So if you just bear with me, and I'll speak to my superior. To which he trots off and goes to his captain in the distance.
I look at Zanhorn and just say, I didn't think saying I was a fighter would go down well.
No, that was impressively tactful of you.
Mm.
And Zanhorn will like pat Benjin on the shoulder, like, I'm proud of you, buddy.
Do you like the irony though, Forrester? I don't like cutting down trees.
Yeah, it's very clever. Very clever.
I'm sure the role of a forester involves tending and nurturing the trees as
Yeah.
well as cutting them down.
The watchman comes back with a rather familiar-looking watch captain, a woman
Ooh.
with a shock of
Yeah,
really
captain.
dark hair. As Captain Eledstra walks forward and goes, "Yeah, it's all right, Private. These men are fine. Sorry for the informal greetings," she says. "It's been a bit tense over the last few days."
Well, we are once again here to help.
I'll keep that in mind. Where are you staying? Do you know yet?
No, we've got a few errands to run first, and then I think we'll probably drop back in on
The winking narwhal.
the Winking Narwhal. There you go, yeah.
Oh, well, if I need you, I'll come find you there then.
Yeah.
She looks kind of exasperated and kind of goes, "Oh, right, okay."
What's going on in the city? You don't seem quite the buoyed up defender that you were the last time we encountered you.
We've had a sudden influx of refugees. Nothing too strenuous at the moment, but the number of people in the city is starting to build, which means my watchmen are being stretched. So people are coming from all over. Well,
What's
the
drawing
ranges of
them
the Sword
or
Coast.
pushing them?
They're all saying that that everywhere's being attacked by giants, or humanoids, or bugbears, or goblins. A lot of farmers from the Desserin Valley are coming in, and then people are coming in from just up the coast road. Nothing major at this point, but enough to kind of scare people away and get them inside the city walls, I think. At the moment, I think it's more rumours than real threat. We're not seeing...
We can confirm it's a threat and not a
Yeah.
rumour.
Yeah.
We were at Golden Fields and fought long and hard against giants and bugbears and other humanoid creatures.
It was a sizable and organised force.
Mm.
where was this?
And that
Sorry?
little town beforehand as well.
The town of Golden Fields was where we fought them, and the town of Nightstone was attacked by
Ah.
cloud giants.
That's
using-
awfully close.
Yes.
Okay. That doesn't sound good. Okay, then. I will let my superiors know this information, and I will, I might be in touch. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. I must go. There's another boatload of people coming in.
Very well.
Thank you, Captain.
So as you can see, the
I thought
docks...
she was a sergeant.
she's captain. She got promoted because of you guys.
Oh.
Because of the events of the first session, your session involved, but she got promoted.
Mm.
So, we're two chaps.
So we need to look. I mean, what time is it? What time of day is it?
It's just gone midday.
Okay.
Guess we need to find out about cashing in this.
It seems like that would
Cash
be a
in the
reasonable
inheritance.
place to
We need
start.
to see what we've got to play with.
Yeah. So we need to find House Tharn and speak to Caldor Maskell, the butler.
So, House Tharn is in the North Ward. It's in the posh district. That's what you've been told.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to travel all the way across the city. But you're on horseback, so it doesn't take you long to trudge through the streets.
Is the
I'm going to stand out like a sore thumb in there, aren't I?
Is the Winking Narwhal on the way?
The Winking Narwhal is on the dock side, so it's not far, relatively, from where you've docked. It's in the dock ward.
So Zanhorn's like, I think, we've had a long journey. Maybe we should stop on the way and just, I can't hide it. I want to see Sleepy. How's he doing? Is he still there?
He was at the library, wasn't he?
He had looked. He was thinking about that, but he was washing dishes and things, and
Okay.
thinking about the library. But I thought we could ask after him because maybe we could find out where he got to.
Okay.
Okay, to the pub.
So you head to the Winking Narwhal, one of the gringiest and grottiest taverns on the dockside.
Has it got any better?
No, not at all. And you are met yet again by the surly barman, Narwhal. Looks you up and down and barely shows any recognition that he's met you guys before.
Zanhorn will just ignore that and just be like, "Well met, old friend. It's been a while, hasn't it?"
What do you want?
Still oblivious to the guy's demeanour, Zanhorn will be like, "Well, actually, we're looking for our good friend Sleepy, the Modron that we left with you when we headed out of Waterdeep."
As you can obviously see, there's no sign of Sleepy, no sign of a giant starfish-shaped Modron in this tavern. He goes, "Oh yeah, him, whatever that thing was. Yeah, he left about a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Do you know where he went?
Oh, what was
Please tell me you met a girlfriend.
Oh God, no! Oh, can you imagine that? How would that work? No,
He's got 5 arms, isn't he?
no. He said something about.
And thus we invented hentai.
Tentacle porn, here we come.
Oh Jesus! Not the vision I wanted. He kind of scratches his head and goes, "Oh yeah, what was it saying? That was it. There was those Modrons that appeared, wasn't there? And they all kind of came out the sewers. And he said something about it's his moral right to make sure that they are sorted out. And so apparently he went into Undermountain, went down to the Yawning Portal. Don't like that place myself. I don't care if you got it. It's just a gimmick, that place. The beer's awful. Bloody full of himself, that bloody barman."
Well, imagine that.
Yeah. At this point, he's like cleaning out a glass. At this point, he goes, "Unhygienic, I tell you. Having a massive well that goes into Undermountain in your bar."
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. So, shall we go, boys?
I think that might be an idea.
As you kind of walk out, you can hear him mumbling, "Go, didn't even buy a drink, the cheap bastards."
We've done enough for that place.
Is the door kind of
quite like
skewing
it.
off its hinges?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll fix it with my mending cantrip.
Fair enough.
Nice.
It looks kind of out of place now. You've got this perfect door
Yeah.
in the front of the tavern.
Okay, so we'll mount up again.
So we're looking for another tavern. Where's Sleepy?
He went to the Yawning Portal to chase some Modrons who appeared out the sewers, and I guess try and order them because, Modrons like to be all ordered, or at least that's the impression we got when we went to their universe.
So the Yawning Portal's another bar.
Yes, you will probably have heard of the Yawning Portal. The Yawning Portal is one of the most famous taverns in Waterdeep. And it's famous because it's got an entrance to the Undermountain, which is this famous kind of dungeon which stretches all below Waterdeep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a massive, you've heard of it, it's like a massive well that's in the middle of the tavern. And you can pay a gold piece to be lowered in, and there's much cheers, and whether you come back out again, some people have come back out with many riches, and it's said that the owner of the tavern actually went down the well 100 years ago and came back not a day older and ridiculously rich.
And it's an entrance to what? Just another...
The Undermountain. Now, Undermountain is this room, this... Many people consider it a myth, but you've been a bit more of knowledge, you know this thing actually exists. It's like a vast array of catacombs that are underwater deep.
All right.
And it's also where we moved that portal to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It says every chance for Modrons could be planning another invasion, which is
'Cause
all we
there's-
need at this point.
Yep, because there's not enough going on at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, is that on our way? I guess that's on our way north because it's about there, if I remember rightly.
I think it is. Yes. So that's where you just clicked is Waterdeep Castle. So that's
Okay.
it will be because you are heading kind of like much further north. It's not. Maybe you got to remember like North Ward and Sea Ward, which are these two at the top, are like the posh districts, and it's definitely not in the posh district.
Well, as it's on our way, why don't we pop in and see if we can catch up with him?
Okay.
Oh, where's that chicken?
Right,
Stop
give me a
chasing
second.
chickens, Benjin.
So you head your way through the streets of Waterdeep, and much like Eldestra has suggested, it's definitely busier. There's definitely more people around than what you're kind of used to, or what you've seen in the past while you've been here. But there's maybe a slight growing tension, but it's not absolutely massive at this point.
Okay.
But it doesn't take you long to find the Yawning Portal on Rainroom Street in the Castle Ward. So it is actually... This map is actually detailed enough that it's got the streets on, but I can't read that far. So it is somewhere in this area here.
Okay.
So it's just beyond Castle Waterdeep. And you enter into the inn. Sorry, I've actually transferred that.
Smooth mixing rather.
So you're presented with an absolutely... I mean, it's like mid-afternoon at the moment, and you're presented with quite a bustling tavern compared to considering the time of day. It's basically the bar is dominated by this 40-foot diameter well right in the middle of the floor. And around it are just loads of tables, and there's like a rope system and pulley system set up going down into this thing. And then there's balconies that overlook this, and kind of all sorts of things plaster the wall. So there's weapons on the wall, the shields. There's like the mounted heads of several creatures you recognise, like bugbears and giant spiders and wyverns, and then several creatures you've never seen before in your life. You've got absolutely no idea what they are, like a squid-faced humanoid and some kind of reptilian thing with 3 eyes.
And I am over there in a shock, and I'm sketching, and I'm
Sandhorn went
just
to
like
nudge
peering
Cenza
around.
to ask him what they were, and then realised that he's already over there making notes. So it's like, wow,
Yeah.
he doesn't know. Okay. Do we see any sign of Sleepy around the place?
There is no sign of him, no.
Then I will wander over to the bar and try and attract the attention of the barman.
The barman itself actually has a load of tomes in front of him, and he looks about middle-aged. His hair's just receding, and he's got that kind of the beard, but his chin's shaved. And he kind of leans in closer over the bar, looks up at you, goes, "Afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
What can I do you for? Drinks, I hope."
I should imagine we could indulge, and I'll get a beer each for us. Yeah, so I'll grab a beer for each of us.
Okay.
And then I
By
will...
this point, I've noticed the books and come over.
So I'll hand some mugs of ale to these guys, and then I'll ask the barman You don't happen to have seen a 5-armed Modron around here. He was an old friend of ours, and we just got back to Waterdeep and we thought we'd look him up.
He kind of closes the book he's looking at with a bit of a slam and goes, "All right, I remember him."
Do you know where Sleepy went to?
Like many a denizen of Mist Tavern, he went down the well.
And he didn't come back up?
Like many a denizen, many a visitor to the well, he did not return.
Oh dear. How long ago was that?
Week ago, 2 weeks maybe.
And we heard that there was some Modrons had appeared and come out of the sewers or something like that.
A couple came in here as well.
Were they okay, or were they... We've had quite mixed dealings with Modrons. Sleepy was a lovely chap, but some of them, well, they were less friendly, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Did they just go down the hole?
Oh. I suppose you brought a drink, so I suppose I can give you some of my time. Some Mermatrons came out. Let's just say this is the wrong tavern to be coming and trying to attack something.
I imagine your defensive situation must be quite good, given you've got a 40-foot hole in the middle of a bar.
Our defenses are actually quite slim. It's just we have a lot of, let's say, a lot of our patrons are packing.
We can understand that, and Zanhorn will just lean back on the bar slightly, showing like his rapier and the flute.
He kind of vaguely looks at you and just, now if there's nothing else you fellas want, I've got work that needs doing.
What are you reading there?
That's none of your business.
I've eyed up the titles already.
Only
You
our
can
friend...
basically see from what he's reading is most of it seems to be just bookkeeping stuff, so things like accounts. But you do notice some stuff on lore of the region. He just seems to be looking at a book about giants,
Okay.
Interesting.
which appears to be one of the ones you read at Maxine when you.
Right. Okay.
Interesting.
I'll just say to Zanhorn, what about lodging and stabling? Here or elsewhere?
I think we've still got time to get further north.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's about mid-afternoon at the moment, so you've got some time. Yeah.
Leave our choices open.
I'd say, as it's on the way again, we could drop in on our dwarven blacksmith friend, and then head up
Shall
to the
we
north
go
and-
get the inheritance first?
Yeah.
I've often found with dwarves that the more money you have, the smoother transactions go.
True. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine by
Okay.
Zanhorn.
So where are you heading then?
So we'll head up to the. Actually, we'll ask the barman if he knows, unless we already know exactly where we're going. We'll ask.
You have been given directions to the Than estate, so you know roughly where you're heading.
Okay, or we'll just head in that direction then.
He doesn't even. He basically goes back to read his book with his hand up there and kind of like doesn't even acknowledge that you've gone.
Good form.
Is it good
yes.
beer?
Yes, it is. It is very fine beer. Not quite as good as the beer from Golden Fields, but a very close second.
Good. Dark or light?
It'll be a dark beer,
Oh, good.
quite malty.
So we'll finish that off stick our mugs back on the table on the bar and thank him for his help, and say that we'll no doubt be back later.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. I might have a play in your hole later on.
Well, he's rude, isn't he? Manners don't cost anything, but this guy, rude. Right. To the north.
That way.
Oh,
So you head
is it
back.
that way?
You head back on the street. So you're heading straight for the Tharn estate now, then, are you?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So, following the directions you received from Lee, you head towards the Tharn estate in the north ward of Waterdeep. You reach a particularly lavish and expensive looking house with some gardens and fenced off from the street, and everything is decorated with this bit of grapes, basically. So all the filigree on the wrought iron gates is grapes, and you see the symbology of House Tharn as you go around, which is a white horse with like a black bird either on most of it seen either just above the horse's head or perched on the nose of the horse in some of the images you can get and see on the filigree.
Interesting. Okay, well I guess is it just like an open drive we can ride up then?
You are greeted at the gate by garden servants who ask for your business.
And we'll say that we are here to meet. I've got my notes spread between too many things. We're here to speak to Calder Maskell.
Very well, and they lead you rather to the front entrance. They lead you to like the service entrance at the back of the house.
A tradesman's entrance.
Yeah, where you're led to a fairly nondescript kind of kitchen, which is obviously the servant's kitchen. One of the servants agrees to pour you all a drink and just ask you to wait here. And it's not long before this gentleman arrives in, very well dressed and very, very good posture. He goes, "Good evening, good afternoon, gentlemen. I don't think I've had the pleasure."
Good day to you, sir.
Good day indeed, and you're quite right. We have
All
not.
right.
Allow me to introduce myself, Zanhorn, and my friends here. We are the heroes of Waterdeep. You may have heard of us. Well, we've been looking after some affairs further north and bumped into Z, who we think you may, in fact, be well acquainted with.
Z Liang?
Indeed.
Indeed.
How is she?
Less dead than she was. We had quite a scrape, but we successfully, with her help, or she with our help, successfully defended Goldenfields from a fairly serious attack.
Ah, well, she was always quite headstrong as a young girl. I should probably tell you that the Liang family and the Than family have been close allies for almost a full generation. Yes, there have been close ties between the two. Sorry, I am Calder Maskell. I'm the head butler of the Than house. May I pour you a glass of wine, gentlemen?
What would you say, Benjin?
I'd say yes.
He gets one of the servants to go bring out a bottle of wine and a few glasses. And it is, based on your current and usual taste, it is a particularly excellent wine. A deep ruby colour and full of flavour.
Delicious.
Delicious indeed.
He takes a swig and he says, "Oh, thank you very much. I would... This is actually one of our lower quality wines, I must admit, but you are in the house of the Than, Waterdeep's most prominent vintners. So
What was
even
his name again? Sorry.
To who? Sorry.
Calder
That's the
Maskill.
butler's name.
The butler is Caldor Marskill.
Ah, cool.
Yes.
I neck the glass quite unceremoniously and agree with him about it.
He kind of raises an eyebrow. So, what brings you? Obviously, you are friends of Z. What and the Liang family? What brings you to Waterdeep?
Good friends indeed. In fact, we've come to claim a reward for helping Z out of a near-death experience. And I'll gesture to Cenza to...
And I kind of have it wrapped up in a bit of cloth, undo the net. It was a necklace, I believe, with a pearl of some description.
a black pearl.
Black pearl, that was it.
Oh, he looks at the he takes it up and looks at it and goes, "Oh yes, that is definitely Z's necklace, and she must trust you very much to entrust this with you."
She said to come and speak to you and to instruct you that we were to be given her inheritance, essentially.
Very well. He calls for a couple of servants and goes, just bring the chest. Can I pour you another glass of wine, gentlemen, while the servants, while my staff retrieve that for you?
Does he seem too trusting?
He seems very well mannered. He's getting on a bit in years. He's quite old, but he did. When you gave him the necklace, he did look at it in quite some detail.
Right.
He pours you another glass of wine. It's not long before a servant comes down with like a small wooden chest, like yay big.
Okay.
Well, if she intended you to have these, then I believe you should. I do believe that this is only a small portion of her inheritance, but it's what we've been kept to keep. Of course, the House Liang were quite important merchants in these areas, bringing silks and spices from the Far East. But this is what we have, and it opens up the chest and retrieves 2 items from it. The first item he gives you is what appears to be like a chime, like a metal chime. I believe these items are of magical properties, and my understanding is that this is a chime of opening. A magical item that, when struck, will resonate a note that will unlock any door.
That sounds very useful indeed.
Especially around chastity belts.
Benjin, we're in polite company. Come on.
He pretend. You can tell he's pretending not to notice that, and is trying not to frown in disgust. What you say?
Is there a little smile at the corner of his mouth though?
No,
Oh.
no, definitely not a smile. He's a bit in disgust at that. And this, I believe, he pulls out this vial of this yellow liquid. My understanding is this is a potion of clairvoyance, and he holds it with a little bit of disgust because it's a yellowing liquid with what appears to be an eyeball floating inside it.
Blimey.
Fascinating.
And yeah, it's only a little tiny one, but a vial nonetheless. Yes, that's unfortunately all we have at this time.
Plus the necklace, which had some value.
Plus the necklace. He does look over. You say the necklace, and he goes, "Now, may I request that I keep hold of the necklace? I would like to personally get this returned to see if possible. Now, I understand that she's bequeathed this to you, so I'm willing to give you a cash equivalent, should we say? That'd be acceptable.
That would seem fair to me, if it does to you, gentlemen.
When he said that this is all,
Does it not
this is
sound a
all
bit
of the
odd?
inheritance, is that? Do we get the impression that he's being entirely forthright, or do we think he's trying to fob us off?
Insight check. as far as you can work out, he's being genuine that this is what he was held on to and
Okay.
what he was told to keep.
So, if this is what you were keeping, where does the rest sit?
I believe the rest of it is tied up in property, businesses, trade routes, that kind of thing. My understanding is these were the actual personal inheritance items that were to be given to Z. The actual Yang business itself was to be entrusted over to her at the time of her choosing. At the moment, the Fan estate runs part of it and has kept it ticking over. And I was told only to hand over this element of it if Z presented this item.
That is extremely well prepared.
Well, the Liang family, they're always very well prepared. Very good business people. Very good.
Fair enough.
Should we be handing over the necklace, though?
A cash equivalent would be the more useful option in our current situation. And it does seem this gentleman has some affection for our friend Z, and if he does indeed return a necklace to her, it would prove as proof to her that we have acted in good faith and followed through on our word.
Your message of sending, is
Yeah.
it one way?
No, I can send 25 words a day, and the person receiving can respond. I'm very surprised Arrakis hasn't just sent a stream of invectives my way yet.
Can you ask her?
Sorry.
Ask her if we should leave it with him for the cash equivalent, or if he should be trusted, and should we send the
Indeed.
message to her?
You say you got 3 uses of the
Just a thought.
2
2.
at the minute. 2 uses of a 3rd level spell.
It's been about 3 or 4 days since you left Goldenfield, so I'm assuming you sent the message to Arrakis on the first day.
Oh, yeah.
So, and the reply regarding the giant attack was, "I will keep that in mind." And the reply regarding the "I know a song that we're getting on nerves" is something along the lines of "Begone, you over-righteous angelic arse fiend," or something along those lines.
It sounds like Arrakis.
That's not as bad as I was expecting, actually.
I've toned it down. It's got its auto censoring system here. The second time he called you a melon farmer.
Just a thought, but would it be worth sending her a message in 25 words? Like, got potion and chime. Marskill wants necklace for money.
Should we give it?
Question. Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I will cast sending and say, Z, this is the champions. We have inheritance. Butler wants to send necklace back to you and give us cash. Is that okay? 23?
Yeah, okay, about 23, 24. You get a reply that simply says, the necklace was a gift to you. It is your decision.
Okay.
Though it would be nice to have it back as a reminder of my family.
Okay.
I
So
think
she's not saying it's worth more than cash then. She's saying he's having you on or anything.
That wasn't in the message, so no. I say go for it.
Go for it.
We particularly want that necklace ourselves.
Yeah, I think liquid assets are more important at this point.
Okay, he says, thank you very much. Again, he waves his hands and some servants scurry off and come back with a small pouch of coins and hand it to you and goes, I believe that should compensate for the value of the necklace if you were to trade it here in Waterdeep.
Sandhorn will just have a quick look in it as to whether that seems reasonable.
There are 75 platinum pieces inside.
Sandhorn will try not to whistle out loud.
How many gold
a
to a platinum?
perception test.
10.
10. Okay, so 750 gold, effectively.
Yeah, you don't. There's a sharp intake of breath that everyone around the room hears, and you can see that obviously it's a bit disgusting. We don't talk money.
Well, now that we've thoroughly ingratiated ourselves, perhaps it's time we left you to your day.
Thank you much, and good luck with your futures endeavours.
And
So-
thank you, sir.
Just because he looked down at me for my comments, just as we leave, I'm just gonna drop like a nasty fart on the way out.
Okay, fair enough.
Quietly, but so that it hits him.
Yeah,
Like about
do
5
notice
seconds after I walk past.
as you leave at the door and wave him goodbye, there was a definite.
You don't have to do a sleight of hand check for that one then.
Go get some roses or some petals or some potpourri or something in here.
Good grief, you can't take Benjin anyway.
Oh.
Leave that wild man has left the stench, you hear him say.
Okay, now that we're back out in the fresh air, Zanhorn's eyes are watering slightly.
No, I let you guys go out first.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was quite potent. It followed us. I think maybe now's a good time to go and visit our blacksmith friend.
Is that the one on that funny little market stall with all the different weapons?
That's right, with all the adamantium.
Oh, that was it. Adamant.
That's it.
Okay.
So you make your way to the market district. Club.
Need some coconuts.
And not a bird flies south for the winter.
Let's not get started on that one.
No, we can be here all day. And you make your way to the very busy central market in the middle of Waterdeep, where the bustling crowds are milling and purchasing and such like. And you're met, and you find your way to the stand where the dwarf is selling his wares of various adamantium weapons. Who has got the highest perception?
Perception, I've got 3 plus 3. Or the passive, do you mean?
Passive perception, yes.
13.
14.
Well, passive wisdom brackets perception. That
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
15.
15. Benjin, you get this sneaking suspicion that someone has been trailing you since you got off. Well, not since you got off the ship, but since you left Yawning Portal. You keep seeing people behind you, and you keep thinking that they're the same people you've seen kind of as you left the Yawning Portal and as you came up the Than Estate. And you swear you can see someone lying around. You can't make out much about them. It's someone wearing it's a hooded figure. And every time you kind of look back to think they're there, they just kind of disappear into a crowd. Yes, get this funny feeling you're being followed.
So I'm gonna say it quietly to the other guys and ask them if they've seen anything. No.
Sandhorn's like, really? You're asking me? As he sort of skips along.
Well, Zanhorn just expects people to see him at all times.
Yeah. But now that Benjin said that, I'll start looking around.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah. Just trying to spot whatever it is. So maybe as we're going along, we'll like go around a corner and then stop abruptly, just wait to the other side of the corner, and then go back round a couple of times, that sort of thing. See if we can spot the tail.
Make a perception check.
Ooh. Now that he's looking.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's a fascinating new axle system over there. I must have a look.
So again, Ben, now that you're keeping a closer eye, you think you can see it. You think you can see someone trailing you, but as soon as you kind of try and home in on them, they just disappear into the crowd and they're gone.
What, I saw them, or Zanhorn did that time?
Both of you did. That time.
Both of us did, right.
Yeah.
So he doesn't think I'm mad now?
He doesn't think you're mad now, no.
You're right,
He might have
Benjin.
before.
There's someone there.
Hmm.
I tell you what, why don't we try and spring a little trap?
That's exactly what I was thinking, but I don't have the brains to figure out a trap.
So I've got an idea. So as we're going along, when we round a corner, don't sigh, Cenza. It's a great plan this time.
This time.
As we round a corner, I'll say to the guys, "You guys carry on. I'll jump off my horse and hand the reins to Benjin. And as we get to the next alley, I'll just duck into the alley while they carry on ahead."
Can you make yourself look different again?
I can do.
Or is it not worth using that right now?
It's only a level 1 spell, and I do have 4 of them. But I don't know what this person was looking for. I do, however, if I remember rightly, have a disguise kit. I do have a disguise kit, so when I'm in the alley just waiting, I'll just like swap a few bits and pieces around, like different moustache.
A wig.
I'll turn my cloak inside out so it's the other colour outwards, that sort of thing. Like nothing that's going to take a lot of time, but just a few bits to make it less.
Make a is it deception or disguise check?
I'm not sure. Let's see. I haven't got the thing in my inventory, annoying me. Yes, I do. No, that doesn't work. It's worth a shot. I could do a deception.
Deception check, yeah.
Yeah. That'll do it.
Okay.
So I'll wait in the alley, waiting to see.
You kind of wait in an alley, and the rest of the party goes forward, and you see this hooded figure walk past the alley towards everyone else.
Okay, so now we've got them surrounded.
So I'll come out the alley and start as discreetly as I can following them, and I will send a message to Benjin.
You've got that as well, have you?
I can point at someone that I can see.
Oh, yours is one way, is it?
No, I think it's both. Yeah, you can
reply. Yeah.
So I'm going to say to Benjin, "I'm on him. I've got him in front of me."
Okay.
Do we surround them? And I'll try and send the same to.
I'd say Benjin and Cenza are walking ahead of you in the crowd, and this hooded figure is following them, and you can tell this person's trying to keep a safe distance, but at the same time is doing like the usual thing of like pretend. You can see they're kind of looking at some market stalls' wares and looking over.
I think we need to lead him somewhere a little bit quieter before we confront him.
Okay, let's do that.
We'll be on the lookout then, I guess, for an alleyway.
Yeah, you're in like the market district. So there aren't really any alleyways because the market takes up this massive space in the middle of the town. But there are like in between stalls and kind of things that you can get to.
Yeah, so somewhere there where I'll be on the lookout for somewhere not completely empty because he probably won't follow us down there, but with a lot less people. Maybe some slightly rougher looking people where they won't be too bothered if we're confronting someone, as opposed to the sort of people that may pay it more attention.
Okay, so you find yourself
sense.
kind of like you lead the person kind of off the busy streets of and into an area that's quieter and clearer. But this person keeps a distance. They're not following you directly. They're obviously trying to keep a distance and keep it not arouse suspicion, but they're definitely following you in that direction. And then when you head into the kind of like more off area, they keep back. All the while, Zanhorn is behind them, the other side of them, and they don't appear to have noticed Zanhorn.
So can I still reply to Zanhorn?
Yes, you can whisper a reply. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to tell him that obviously we're the distraction. We're not going to be able to turn around and grab him. So Zanhorn's going to have to grab him at the opportune moment, and as soon as he does, I'll jump in.
Okay.
And pin him.
Does it look like they're going to go down this? That they're going to follow them?
It looks like this person is trying to follow them, but they're keeping a distance. They're just keeping an eye on you.
Okay. So when it looks like we've got to a quieter bit, I will send them a message directly and try and close the distance and say sort of like a really harshly worded whisper, like what do you want?
Oh,
kind of thing.
good thinking.
You can see the person. This kind of person.
Jesus,
again,
why didn't I think
is
of that?
sneaking forward quietly, and as soon as you do it, it stops. And you see the hooded head kind of look back and forth. I want what is mine, you snivelling bard.
Zanhorn trying not to snigger in the message, but and what might that be?
What you and your friends stole from me.
We haven't stolen anything. What is it you think you're entitled to?
Your red-skinned friend stole my amulet. Your red-skinned friend stole my future, and now you have something of mine.
I'm going to send a
Boaty
message to
McBoatface.
Benjin, or no, I'll send it to Cenza this time and say, "Fucking Arrakis."
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'll send a message to the other guy saying, "When you say friend."
Yeah. I think what you mean is.
Make an intelligence check, John. Just a basic intelligence check.
Oh dear. Hey!
Oh, hey! The voice is more guttural, like as if the person has been smoking 20 fags a day, kind of thing. You recognise this voice, even though it's coming through as a whisper via the magic. And the realization sends a bit of a shudder down your spine because you're pretty sure this is the voice of Bran Blacktree.
Blacktree.
Who is the person you used to work for and was
Yeah.
the court entertainer for.
Ah, yes.
Did you just forget your backstory?
Well, I thought that Arrakis killed him.
Can't even do that right.
Zanhorn will stop in his tracks and just be like, I thought you got what was coming to you.
No, I didn't. That's why I want it back. And if you're referring to my demise, just remember the Blacktrees are a particularly wealthy family. Raised dead spells come cheap to us, unlike you peasants.
Zanhorn is going to grit his teeth. Like, well, have you learned anything from your
He turns
experience?
around at this point because it's obviously he's turned around and he's looking for you at this point because you obviously can't see it, but you can see the hooded head and you can just see the face, and the face through the veins, there's like a horrible burn scarring on the side of his face that wasn't there when you last saw it.
Yeah. So Zanhorn, whilst it was quite a shock will actually be somewhat relieved that this person's finally taken, something's been taken from him properly after what he did to that maid. He has zero sympathy for this guy.
So he looks around, and rather than using the whisper spell, he kind of says out loud, "You might as well show your face, Zanhorn."
And with that, he'll send a message to say to Cenza and Benjin, "Jigs up, we're on," and start striding towards him, tearing off bits of disguise, swapping his cloak back with a flourish.
Rumble time.
And he'll approach him with one hand on his rapier.
He pulls back his hood. You do recognise it's definitely him, but as I said, all the side of his face has been like burned and scarred away. He holds his hands up and goes, "I'm not foolish enough to start a fight here in an open street, even though you obviously have tried to move me away from a populated area. Very clever."
Well, perhaps you've started learning something after all. So what is it exactly you think that Arrakis has taken from you?
Arrakis has taken an amulet that belongs to me.
And what's so important about this amulet?
Arrakis knows what's important about it. He knows it's mine, and he knows it's a Black Tree family heirloom. But obviously, Arrakis is not with you at the moment. I will.
Thank heavens for small mercies.
I will let your day pass if you merely hand over the black gem.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No.
You're a terrible
No.
liar, Zanhorn. It came from the Modron's head.
And what is it that you think that you're going to do with that, even if we had it?
I know you have it.
It's not
I don't
answering
think
my
we did.
question.
And why should I answer your question?
Well, I don't see the need to answer yours then.
Very well. I think this meeting is over then.
No, I don't know about you, Benjin, actually, but I'm quite curious as to what your intentions are, Bran.
I'm quite curious as to what your intentions are, Zanhorn.
Well, there's three of us, so why don't you start?
Is it trouble you're after?
You should know by now.
Oh,
We're never
wank.
after. I'm never after trouble. It just seems to happen to me. You know,
Well,
when bad stuff happens, I just find myself in the thick of it trying to put it right. Ring any bells?
oh yes, you do also seem to find yourself in the thick of it, don't you?
Out with it then. What is it you have in mind for this gem?
As I said, that is none of your business.
Well, now that you've found us, we're making it our business.
I fail to see how you're making me do anything.
Well, I've got a Benjin. Benjin, would you encourage him?
Did you not just see that Benjin tried to?
Yeah, what are you actually doing, Benjin?
Sorry?
What is your action? What are you actually doing?
Oh, is intimidation not just an action?
No, well, yeah, you got to
Describe it.
explain how you're intimidating, what you're intending to do.
I was just going to sort of use my size and just hold up, like, pull out the sword a little bit and the crossbow a little bit, and
2 tickets to the gun show as well, is there?
sorry.
2
Oh,
tickets
yeah.
to the gun show. He kind of looks you over and looks at his just. He goes, "Oh, your dim-witted friend is not doing much to impress me."
Zanhorn's like, I don't have time for you being an idiot. And he'll try and shove him against the wall.
Okay, make a grapple check. Make a strength check.
Oh dear.
Can I?
No.
Oh, I was just gonna say, can I help him do that so he gets?
So you go to grapple him, and he
advantage,
just
but
put
it's too
he kind of just, even though you've just screwed it up, he kind of just goes limp and lets you do it, and then goes, guards, I'm under attack, I'm being mugged.
We'll let him call them, but we've just apprehended a sinister fellow who's been following us around the marketplace. We thought he was a thief.
To which, it's not long before a group of Waterdeep guards come around the corner running, and at this point you're still kind of holding him by the neck. He goes,
As soon as they get round the corner, I'll yell to them, "Ah, good! We've caught a thief!"
Guards, these men have mugged me. Look at them, they're brandishing weapons, and look at him. He's nothing but a thug.
Zanhorn will look over to them and say, "Ask your captain if you don't already know, but I think you should recognise the heroes of Waterdeep."
You're not Grey Force.
The other heroes of Waterdeep.
What's going on? Yeah, they look over and they go, what's going on here? He goes, and Bran at this point goes, I am Bran Blackwood. I am a prestigious noble. These ruffians have tried to mug me.
Noble you might be,
Whoa.
but following us around the market with the intent to steal from us.
I was minding my own business, and these men lured me into an alley to steal my money. To which point the guards walk up and go, you three, you're under arrest.
This guy was trying to steal from us.
Sorry. Doesn't look that way to us.
Well, let's go and have a word with, what was the name? God, my mind's gone blank. Well, let's go and have a chat with Captain Aledstro and see what she says, hey?
You're in the you're in Castle Ward at the moment, mate. Aldestra's in the Dock Ward. Let's take you down and let's get you into a nice, comfy cell, shall we? Oh, thank you, gentlemen. It's the guards of Waterdeep are such fine, upstanding citizens. It gives you like an evil grin as you're escorted away.
Zanhorn will shake his head and send a message whispering to Bran, "You've not heard the last of this. You're going to regret this."
I very much doubt it.
Smug piece of... And that's the spell ends.
So, the Waterdeep guards escort you and your horses to a nearby fortification off the side of the market square. And you're led into some cells and stripped of all your armor and weapons and equipment, which are put to one side. You're in the cell with a kind of like twitchy, sniveling looking man who's just kind of doing no, they're coming, no, come from the sky, yeah.
You're right, fella.
Whereas the guards just kind of leave you. Whoa.
So the guards have just headed off.
Yeah.
As they're heading off, Zanhorn will be like, "We'd better not be in here too long. Call Alestra. She'll sort this out."
And they kind of just look at you and go, yeah, whatever.
When are we getting out of here?
Nothing.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Brilliant. Did we see where our stuff ended up?
They've moved it into like a safe box in the kind of offices section. So it's not within sight of where you are at the moment, but it's all been taken away from you.
Brilliant.
Did they take my holy symbol, my amulet?
They, yeah, they're clever enough to know that
Okay.
you might be a priest, and therefore they're taking your spell focus away from you.
Okay, can I have a look around the cell to see if there's a piece of copper wire anywhere?
Copper wire, no. There's a
Okay.
simple wooden bench, some metal bars. It's just basically a stone, 3 walls of stone, a couple of wooden benches spread out, and then metal bars and a gate at the front.
Right.
I'll look at the other two like, sorry guys, that guy's been bad news since the moment I met him, but he's an absolute arsehole. I mean, he makes Arrakis look pleasant.
Jesus. Okay.
I'll look over at the guy who's been sort of twitching and stuff. Like, are you all right, fella?
It's gonna come. It's gonna come.
What's going
Can
to
I
come?
do a medicine check on
Let's
him?
see. Yep.
Okay. Whoops, one page. Well, hey.
Nice.
He is probably a drug addict of some description, and he's probably coming down a bit based on the attitude. He looks a bit sweaty and he looks a bit twitchy.
Okay. I am going to cast Lesser Restoration on him, and that only has verbal and somatic components.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he kind of comes a bit awake. Yeah, so you've basically, by clearing the poison, you've removed kind of like the after effects of whatever was happening. He kind of comes to be a bit more kind of corpus mentis. And he kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, what the hell is going on?"
You just happen to be locked in a cell with a cleric, my friend. How are you feeling?
Okay, I've waken up in worse places, I suppose. Which god?
Ogma, god of knowledge.
Oh, that's all right then.
Why?
Oh, you don't want to wake up in a cell with a priest of Leviander, do you? You know.
Fair.
Oh.
Though I imagine the restoration from Loviatar would have been a lot more painful.
Yeah.
It would probably involve being prodded in some description.
Zanhor
Well,
nudge
it's-
Cenza and go, who's Logtha? Who's Logtha?
The goddess of pain. We
Ooh.
visited her temple, remember?
Oh, right, yeah.
Back when we first met. You know, the bit with the thing and that thing?
And the...
Yes.
yes.
Oh. Right. I'm never taking pixie dust again.
It's my dear friend.
No, oh Jesus! I was having really just bonkers nightmares. There was this
What
thing.
were
coming out-
they?
There was this thing coming out of the sea, just big and thing, and then there was these castles in the sky with rocks coming down.
Ah.
Ah.
Yeah, that may
Thought
not
so.
entirely have been just the drugs.
Okay. What about
Where'd
the
you come
big
from?
Iron Man?
Yeah, that might have been.
Okay. Big Iron Man?
Modron.
Like a big
Massive
suit of
Modron?
armor? No! Like a big massive. No, it wasn't a Modron. I've seen those things. One of them popped out the sewers on Whistler Street. No, this was this is like 50 feet tall and was like this big suit of armor with glowing eyes and firing firebolts from its head.
Yeah.
Where did you see this exactly?
In my head.
Right.
Where were you when you were in your head?
I don't know. I just saw this thing stomping around. I know there were fields and hills, I think they're called. I don't know. I've not been outside of Waterdeep my entire life.
Except on this little trip you've been on.
Yeah. Oh, and taking pixie dust again.
How do you even know the concept of a field? And that's
Gundar,
too deep for Benjin, isn't it?
Gundar, the pub told me about it. Reckons it's this thing with grass out. It's like a garden but bigger.
It's a pretty good description, I'd say. Soundhorn will start looking around, see if there's anything that he could make use of to try and either contact the outside world or...
So there's nothing much here, really. I mean, it's a very simple stone cell. There's plenty of room in there. There's a couple of simple wooden benches. It's stone walls all the way around. What looks to be like some kind of iron gates. A little slot in the window to let some light in. You appear to be just below ground level, so you're kind of looking up a little bit. A bucket in the
Cenza,
corner.
mate.
Yeah.
What in the corner?
A bucket.
Oh, slot bucket.
Yeah.
Cenza, mate, can you
Yes.
send a message to Eldestra and get her to come here?
Not without my focus or a piece of copper wire, neither of which seem to be around. In all honesty, I could probably break us out fairly easily. I can still summon Stampy
Well, it's
and
not
break the door down.
It's not a difficult thing to break the door down with spells. The question is...
No. Should we?
Should we, indeed? The guards are still gone, I take it.
Yeah. You can sense the guards kind of around the corner. They're not too far away. That's one of them's not too far away, but none of them are actually watching over you at this point.
The decisions. So Zanhorn will try and articulate some of the plans that come to mind. So some magical imagery, like a fire or something like that, that means that we have to get out. Something attacking the cells that means that we have to get out. Something attacking them from the office that distracts them so we can slip out. Any thoughts? Any preferences? Or do we just wait it out? Do we try and bluff our way out and just make it clear that we're on important Waterdeep business that we've got to get to?
But are we?
Yeah, we need a plausible story for that one.
Well, to be fair, we do kind of have to go hunt down a rampaging giant horde and make alliances with dragons.
True. Why don't we try that one first?
Yes.
Let's try the honest way first. And if that fails, we'll go back to good old...
honest way, then dishonest way, then fighty.
Honest, then misdirection. Yep. Okay. So Zanhorn will bang on the bars. Guards!
You see the guy kind of stand up and like, what?
Look, we don't want to waste your time, but we're on quite an important mission. We thought we'd give you the benefit of the doubt. Bran was trying to follow us to try and steal something that one of our compatriots took north with him. We're on an important mission here to try and stop an impending giant invasion. We need to enlist a bunch of help. We don't have time to sit around in a prison cell. If you just talked to Eledestra, she'd make this clear. She'd vouch for us.
Of course you don't have time. Make a persuasion check.
If I roll low on this, I'm going to be very upset. Yes!
Yes!
Plus 10, baby.
Look, right. A message has been sent to the dock ward. You know, you've mentioned Captain Eldestra. A message has been sent for a... Just wait it out, will you, pal? Do yourself a favour.
Look, we don't want to make a mess here. How long will it take?
That's what the bucket's for. Oh, sorry. Right, you were talking about something else.
I'll look over at Benjin and think this guy's on your level.
We'll point out to him. Captain Eldestra wasn't a captain till she worked with us.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
look, right. It's
you
a
work with
different
us.
district, right? It's a different district, right? But
I'm not
jurisdiction
talking about the
still-
district. I'm talking about the influence we have.
Look,
She was a sergeant. Now she's a captain.
just
You may well get promoted. You might get demoted to slot bucket emptier. I'm not threatening you. I'm just suggesting how your future could go.
yes,
Up or down?
I am already the
Up
slop bucket
or
emptier.
down?
Oh, I don't think anything gets lower than a slot bucket emptier, does it?
Wait it up, chaps. Bit of patience. And with that, he walks back around and goes, sits on his chair.
In the interests of avoiding a significant civil disturbance and having our names muddied, perhaps we should give it a couple of hours.
Quite.
And Benjin is that depressed with his near-death experience. He's kind of embarrassed at being a barbarian at the moment. He's still down about it. Even he is agreeing for now. He's kind of lost a little bit of his life force at the moment.
Zanhorn will pat him on the shoulder and like, look, we all make mistakes. I make them all the time. The trick is just do it confidently and no one will notice.
But I didn't even save the tree.
We lost a lot of people in
tree
Golden
beard.
Fields. So I don't know what else we could have done. There were some massive odds and we championed them. That's what we do.
Golden Fields needs to serve as a warning for what fate befalls the rest of us should we fail.
Yeah. I think if there's one thing you're going to take away from it, Benjin, remember that although rushing into battle is generally what we do, if we can try and form a plan and stick together, I think we all need to remember that. We work better together.
Yeah.
I'm used to rushing into battle and coming out the hero.
Yeah. But we're a team. So if we can plan a little bit first and then do the rushing in, we'll probably come out even more heroic.
Are we a team?
Zanhorn will look like visibly hurt by that comment. Like we've been together, we've been through some rough shit.
Yeah, you're about to say how long, then you realise you've got no idea how long we've been together in a game. How long have we been together? You're going to tell me it's like about 7 days.
It's not quite. It's like, hang on. It is 1, 2, 3. It's just 16 days since you met in Waterdeep.
Zanhorn will be like, well, let's not count the days. Let's just think about all the experiences and the stuff that we've survived together.
So we've travelled to a different plane together, Benjin.
We have different planes. We've experienced more enemies than Zanhorn's ever met in his life.
Think of all the battles you've been through with us.
In fact, I've got a few songs. And Zanhorn looked down and like, fuck, my lute. My flute. Right, I'll just have to sing this one. And Zanhorn will start singing his most irritating tunes.
I would say
That's a good idea.
I'd say make a performance check, but I'm assuming you're going to tank it.
26.
So he's deliberately making a really bad performance, like the worst singing of his life, but like notes perfectly the wrong notes.
It's about 2 or 3 hours since the You spoke to the guard. The person who's in the cell with you has basically been sitting there kind of like this for the last hour. And you can hear a commotion upstairs. And in storms Captain Aldestra with a couple of her men, to which immediately goes, "What is that racket?"
Zanhorn will stop. Like, oh my god, thank God you got here.
Oh,
It's a
what have
shame I
you
didn't prepare the silence, Val.
what have you been up to?
It's not us. Do you remember Arrakis?
Yes.
Well, it
Tiefling,
seems
red skin, bit of an arsehole.
a bit. Well, it seems that he
Yeah.
has managed to incur some sort of grudge with Bran Blacktree, who we caught trailing us through the market. We took him for a thief. He raised the guards and made out that we were trying to steal from him.
Thankfully, you're on
He's
the
also a
cities
bit
of the
of an
whole
arse.
gun books, yes. And Bran Blackwood has been nowhere to be seen since this was started.
Blackwood or Blacktree?
Blacktree, sorry.
Interesting.
So, I think you're safe and you're going under my name at this point.
Well, we appreciate that you vouch for us.
She runs her fingers through her hair again, which was always kind of the sign when you were with her that she was stressed. Well, it looks like you owe me one, and you've picked the perfect time to owe me one.
Zanhorn will roll his eyes like, of course it is. It always is.
Yeah.
Go on. What can we do?
I suggest you come with me. You're now under my jurisdiction. She points to the guards and goes, "Sorry, it should be Bran Blackwood, not Blacktree. Tree, wood, same difference."
Yeah.
She goes, give these men their equipment back. They're now under my jurisdiction."
Zanhorn will wink at the slot bucket guy. Like, could have come with us. And then skip out behind.
So they open the locked chest and hand you back your sacks and your bags and weapons and holy focuses and what have you.
Give it a quick check over. Anything missing?
Yes. One black gemstone is missing, but nothing else is.
Who had that? Was that Cenza?
I did.
That?
Everything else
Stick up
appears
your
to be.
arse.
As we're looking
Because I
through
wear
our-
armour, it's very difficult to do that.
as we're going through our stuff, Zanhorn will be like, I think there's something missing.
And that's just like, what's missing?
And I'll look at Cenza.
Mine keepsake, just a small black stone.
You sure?
Yeah, yes. Not worth much, but it has sentimental value.
She looks at the guards here, and they're going like, they all kind of look surprised. I don't know.
Genuinely surprised, or like one of
Make
them?
Insight check.
Yeah, can I get in on that?
Yeah. As far as you can work out, these guys are genuinely perplexed.
Okay, so none of them, likely, none of them sold it for you.
When
Likely
Aldestra-
he pickpocket.
When Aldestra questions them, they're kind of like, "It's only been Waterdeep guards in and out of this building."
Something fishy going on here. Or he lifted it from us in the alleyway and we didn't spot it.
He lived, yeah.
Did he come anywhere near me?
No, he didn't.
That we noticed, at least.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because you basically surrounded him, and the only person who got into close to him was Zanhorn. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Eldestra leads you away with a small entourage of guards, and you notice by the insignia they're Dockward guards. Two things strike you. Number one, you're pretty sure that when you came in, it was into the cells. It was a clear day. Now it's getting on for early evening now, so the light's starting to fail. However, the sky is now completely overcast, where it wasn't before, and it strikes you as being quite odd because they're thick, dark clouds that you swear weren't there before.
Anyone else starting to get a bad feeling about this?
I don't know. Did anyone see the weather forecast this morning?
Aldestra kind of looks at you knowingly and goes, "We'll talk about that in a moment," and then starts leading you away. But you notice that she's not leading you. She's leading you south, but rather than keep heading south towards the dock district like you think she is, she makes a detour and heads straight for Castle Waterdeep.
Oh.
Interesting.
She leads you into a room in Castle Waterdeep and says, "I'll be back in a moment." But the room is guarded. You've got two guards are placed on the door, and you're just placed in this pretty nondescript room in like what looks like the kind of servant quarters of Castle Waterdeep.
Zanhorn will go to start singing again and then spot Benjin's look and think better of it.
I
I've got my
cast
flute
sending.
now.
Fandarian,
Yeah.
you bleeping, bleep, 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 bleep. Brand Blackwood, stolen amulet. What the bleeping, bleeping, bleep, bleep, bleep? Explain yourself now, you bleeping bleep.
Is that
Exactly 25.
Was one of those was one of those bleeps Boaty McBoatface?
Possibly.
Paul, can you do me a favour? Can you make a note of what you've sent him so he can send actually Andy a message about what he's been given?
Okay.
So you are. It's not long before Aldestra returns, and she's accompanied by Grumpshy the Sage, if you remember, which was the half-orc
yeah.
member of the Mages and Protectress Guild, and another individual who, judging by the clothing and the insignia, seems to outrank Aldestra. This man doesn't give any kind of name or anything, and just kind of sits down and looks quite solemn-faced and looks you up and down. Quite gruff and quite well-built. He goes, "So these are them?" And she goes, "These are the ones that ventured into the portal and prevented the attack on Waterdeep?"
Zanhorn will take a step forward as he always does and just do the Heroes of Waterdeep at your service. Zanhorn, and you are?
My name's not important, and it's probably best you don't know my name at this point.
Mysterious.
Let's just call it useful information, shall we? So, I don't suppose you noticed the inclement weather conditions we've been having today? Or did you not have a window in your cell?
No, we
noticed.
spotted it. In fact, we were just saying that this stinks of another adventure.
It is not to be said outside these walls at the moment, but we have reason to believe that the cloud cover is concealing a cloud giant castle currently maneuvering itself above Waterdeep.
Oh dear.
Oh
If
dear.
I hear you
That's
mention
bad.
these words to anyone outside this room, then you'll be on the hanging block tomorrow morning. Am I clear? Excellent.
You
discretion.
do
is good.
realise it might well show itself by tomorrow morning anyway.
Indeed, but I like to have my word taken and my instructions followed.
Zanhorn will be like,
Ah,
well, we're always ones for following the rules.
good.
Otherwise, this barbarian would have just beaten his way out of the cell.
But he'll wink at Benjin if he thinks that the chap isn't looking.
Our allies in Neverwinter tell us there is a similar castle off the coast of Neverwinter, and our allies in Baldur's Gate at the moment said there is no sign of such a thing, but they are keeping their eyes open.
How far away from Neverwinter?
A few miles off Neverwinter's coast, not far.
How fast can these these castles travel?
Would
We
we'd probably
believe
know that,
quite
wouldn't we?
slow.
From the
Yeah,
tower.
we.
Yeah, I'd probably
Yeah,
know
but-
about my family were in Neverwinter, so I got a little freaked out if they're possibly in harm's way.
Yes, the Zephyros's tower did move, didn't it?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And the book doesn't give speed. About a mile or two an hour. They're quite slow, but they can move if required. However, he says, we have received communication from the castle above Waterdeep, from the castle's major domo, or castellan, if you prefer. They've said that
Look,
the
I'm a simple barbarian. What's that mean in English? The head of
boss.
the castle.
Castle
Yes.
boss, Benjin.
the
Right.
castle manager, shall we say, manages the castle and troops. He says, or she says, sorry, that she is contacting us on behalf of Count Stratavan's son, Althanas, who is the lord of the castle, and he wishes to meet with representatives of Waterdeep to discuss matters. We do not know if they wish to discuss our surrender or something else. The Lady Silverhand is preparing to meet if necessary. However, we need some more information first. And that's where you come in.
Of course. And how exactly can we help?
Well, if you agree, you are free agents, not affiliated with the Lords of Waterdeep at all. We get you to the castle. You find out their intentions, you report back. If for some reason you are required to negotiate with this Althanas and things appear to be going according to plan, then you can act on our behalf. However, we would prefer that as far as all things are considered, you are free agents. Plausible deniability, if you know what I mean.
Mm. And what do we get out of this exactly? Aside from obviously our good civic duty.
Well, my good friend Captain Aldestra tells me she's just retrieved you from a prison cell.
Yes.
So the first thing
Yes.
would be to drop all charges.
Sounds like
Which
a
were
good
fake
start.
in the first place.
And apparently you pissed off a noble. That's not a good thing to do in Waterdeep without any evidence.
There's nothing noble
No.
about that man. Sanhon will
Anyway,
half spit.
never mind. That's another matter. As I said, all charges will be dropped. And no doubt there'll be some cash incentive if successful. However, of course, we can't fill your pockets with dragons before you head up. A pocket of freshly minted dragon coins. may just point people towards the fact that you are from Waterdeep. So we'll see what happens on your return, shall we?
Ah, that old chestnut. Well,
Again, plausible deniability.
well, and Zanhorn will look at the other guys. Sounds like we've got another heroic adventure to prepare for.
It does indeed.
And Zanhorn will absent-mindedly tap his flute, thinking about the songs that he will subsequently sing.
Sorry, I went to a naughty place.
Cenza.
Right. You need us
Yeah.
more than we need you.
Okay.
We're quite happy to help. Well, happy's not the right word, but what can you do to help us up there?
Well, that's the beauty of it. When up there, you'll be completely on your own.
He's saying beauty, and I do like to see beauty in the world. But this doesn't sound like a beautiful exchange to me.
It's a simple reconnaissance mission. The idea is to keep yourselves out of danger if it's all possible. Get in, find the information, get out.
Sounds simple. What could go wrong?
All right.
Okay, boys, let's go.
Cenza, what do you need to help us get information? You're the information guy.
I need to go shopping. I need
Shopping involves money. I think this guy can cover it.
Make a persuasion check, Benjin.
Now, sorry, this is where it's not going to work, is it? Never does. Oh,
It did.
it's not bad.
He raises an eyebrow and goes, "What are your requirements?"
This is not us asking for payment. This is asking for you to get the job done.
Zanhorn will blurt out, "Adamantium rapier."
He just looks down at you and goes, "That's a bit too much. What was it you wanted, priest?"
diamonds worth at least 300 gold pieces. Should anything happen to one of us up in the castle.
And how many do you think you need?
3.
300 gold pieces worth, at least.
Is that one diamond worth 300 gold pieces?
The material component of the Revivify spell is diamonds worth 300 gold pieces.
Okay.
So I presume it's little ones.
Yeah. Okay. He kind of goes, I think that constitutes payment up front. So it's agreed?
My element of the payment. My friends.
Let's call that up front, and then we'll see how difficult it was when we return. When?
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you agreed. Thank you, gentlemen. Grumpshy, what are our options? So let's brief these gentlemen on how, in fact, they're going to approach said castle. So, the half-orc gets loads of her papers together. As I see it, we've got two options. We can either use the Griffin cavalry and land in the gardens. Is that right? No, the Eyrie. We've investigated. We've got Griffin cavalry circling at the moment. There's an Eyrie. We could get the Griffins to land in the Eyrie, and hopefully that will not look untoward. Because it seems, why would you have an area on a giant? They've got lots of things. They've got big things. They've got big holes. There's obviously big things that are flying in there. What could those big things be? We don't know. But anyway, Griffins could land on the area, or we could try a half.
What's a half?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. It's a high-altitude feather fall drop. Really quite simple.
Fascinating.
What we do
A halo
is
parachute jump.
we get you above in some kind of contraption. I'm sure we can borrow a contraption from the gnomes. They'll have a contraption. And then you jump out. And then just before you hit the ground, you activate a featherfall spell. And you'll drop to a small distance and land safe on the ground.
Zanhorn look at the other guys and say, that second one, that's the one that's going to be the story.
The only problem is the featherfall is you don't have a griffin to get back out again. We can give you 2 feather fall spells. So when you want to get out, you jump off the side of the cliff and then activate again.
Ching. That's Zanhorn's vote. That sounds coolest.
Roughly how high up is it?
1 mile. So you'd have to get to a height of about 1.5 miles to activate the half.
Okay, and how many feet are in a mile? I always forget.
I can't remember.
Sorry.
So, 16
Google.
down.
To Google.
Benjin's just going to put out there that he does not like the idea of the magic.
5,280.
Yes. So a height of about 8,000 feet ought to do it.
Zanhorn's like, do you know what? This is actually sounding like it could be fun.
Well, I'm still planning on riding that dragon, so maybe I'll get my license by riding a griffin first.
So you agreed, gentlemen.
We'll go.
We're agreed, but I don't think from experience it's necessarily a good idea to split up. So if you won't do the cool option, Benjin, then let's all take the griffins.
So the Grumpy goes, oh yeah, of course. You'll have to all go the same way. You wouldn't want to split up. So a decision: are you Griffin or are you Halfing?
Rock, paper, scissors. Lizard Spock.
Ready?
I'll go with whoever
1,
wins.
2, 3.
Oh.
Stupid bloody scissors. All right, let's ride the griffin.
Okay, then. Let's not waste any time, then. So they lead you up the stairs, lead you out of the room. If you get everything you need, and Cenza, you are given a small
horses.
bag of horses. Don't worry, your horses are being tended to at the stables.
Right.
Good.
Cenza, you're given a small bag of 200 gold pieces worth of diamonds.
Nice.
I assume that Zanhorn took the chime since it's basically a musical instrument.
Yeah, that's my assumption.
It should be in the Roll20 database.
Ooh.
So you might even be able to chime of opening. So you might even be able to drag it onto your character sheet from there.
I will try. Chime of opening, there it is. That's better than me just typing it in. Really should name my horse rather than just one horse.
Have you not named it? Mine's called Fornax.
I did name it. It's White Star, I think, if I remember rightly. But it's not.
Mine's the one that
Machine.
bites people.
Okay, so you're led out to.
I presume Zenza's got the potion then.
Yes, I can.
Clairvoyance.
I
It
presume
seems
that
very
that's basically the clairvoyant spell.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a potion that gives you the again. That should be in the Roll20 thing as well.
Yeah.
Before we begin
It's
the
not
next
going to be
step,
of any use to Benjin.
maybe this is a good point for a brief intermission.
It is 9:45 at the moment, so we're probably going to have about another quarter of an hour to half an hour left. So,
Very brief.
okay.
Okay.
Goodbye,
Back in a moment.
interwebs.
Back in a moment, guys. And we are back.
Okay. So you
Hello.
are led to the kind of stable yards, which is like a giant area on the side of the tower, outside the castle Waterdeep, where you are led to a griffin awaiting for you. You're basically told the griffin has been trained to take you to the area, and you don't have much control over it apart from that.
One griffin for all of us.
No, one each,
Okay.
because they're quite big things.
Mhm.
And you're basically told that what it'll do is it's been trained and given instructions to just basically fly you straight to the Eyrie, sorry, and will drop you off. You have some control over it a little bit, but that's the basic gist of it. You're given some quite simple instructions, like if you do need to steer, tug its feathers this way or feathers that way. But other than that, you're basically just stuck on them, and then the stable master, as it were, just smacks the arse of the one that Benjin's on, and off it flies into the air. Before long, you're circling over Waterdeep, and Waterdeep, the city is heading down below you. You get a vast view of the city, and you break the skyline, you break these clouds, and come across this huge fortification in the sky. It's like a castle made up of 3 separate sections that are intersected by walkways. And the castle seems to be sitting on a cloud, much the same as Zephyros's tower when you met him. But the building, the walls it appears to be a distance like a cloud. It's hazy, but as you get closer, you can see it's almost like marble. It's that solid, and you can see it's flecked. And you're heading towards this kind of part of it on the east side of the castle, which is this one tower with all these kind of slots in. So it looks like like a dovecote or whatever, but much larger. And the sun's shining brightly because you're above the cloud cover. You're like in full sunshine now.
Mhm.
But you can also see that circling the tower are these like large birds, and they appear to notice you and start flying towards you. Very kind of lazily. They're not heading like a direct line towards you. They're more kind of swooping back and forth a little bit, but heading in your direction. You can make out 3 giant eagles.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay.
We will keep our eyes peeled.
So they kind of keep their distance but circle around you a little bit. But don't approach any further.
Would
If
we
we-
be
if
able to
we
tell?
s-
Sorry, go on, Ben.
No, you go. You go.
Okay, I was going to say, would I be able to tell if this is kind of natural behaviour or if it's kind of trained
Make a nature check.
nature? Oh, for God's sake!
Natural
Oh,
one.
right. That was a natural one.
Natural one.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, you're unable to determine what they're doing. They appear to be giant eagles. That's all you've managed to work out.
If I can I steer the?
Limited amount. It kind of resists you as you try and steer it.
I'm just trying to see if I can get any closer to the eagles or if they keep their distance.
Make an animal handling check.
Okay.
Zanhorn's busy just admiring the view and trying to commit it all to memory at the moment.
I don't actually know what I've got there. What did I give? Oh, 16.
16, yeah. So you are able to steer the griffin a little bit, kind of guide it left and right, kind of thing.
Okay. And do they run away? Do they?
They keep their distance, basically. They appear to be just watching you.
Okay.
Zanhorn will realise that Benjin's like steering his griffin and starts to think that looks like fun, so he'll give it a go.
Make an animal handling check then. Yeah, you appear to you were able to also control your griffin within a certain amount, and he swoops back and forth and appears to be enjoying the kind of getting on the currents and what eddies and what have you. You were obviously approaching this one tower on the kind of I said the kind of southeastern side when you can see a walkway heading from this tower into like a larger structure of the castle ahead of you. And this tower is like full of openings with perches kind of on side on each one. As you approach that, there's only one kind of area the griffins can land, which is a large. I'll tell you what. So, a large opening on the very edge, and the griffins basically land and stop there.
Okay.
Obviously, kind of nudging you to get off. And you've been led into. Obviously, this is like the base of this area, and you can see the tower reaches up above you with all these windows sticking out and perches. In front of you, and like nesting in like the hay, is this large winged creature with 3 heads. That of a lion, a dragon, and something else that I can't remember, which is very foolish of me. Oh, a ram.
Do we recognise what it is?
I try and identify it.
Yeah, make a nature check or a
Nature.
arcane check.
Nature's best.
This
more like it.
This is a chimera, a creature that's of quite common knowledge. It appears to be snoozing at this point in time.
Okay.
And what are the other things around? Are they all?
That's the only thing that's this part. These are all like bales of hay that you can see. These things.
Is there anything else in this room? Is there like remnants, birds, or?
There's some crap on the floor, some bird crap.
All right.
Large quantities of it, like as if a giant eagle had done a poo.
Are there like, I don't know, are there eagle feathers?
Yeah, there's the odd feather, yeah.
Could I identify an eagle feather?
Yeah, they appear to match the eagles of the creatures that you just saw flying around.
So can I take one?
Yes. As you move towards, though, the sleeping chimera stirs, and one of its heads kind of rolls over in your direction.
Okay.
I'm going to cast minor illusion to try and produce like a stack of hay around the edge of the chimera, around near where its heads are, like between us and it. So there's like a semicircle that would just block its view, so that we can try and sneak round past it.
Okay then. Make a dexterity check, and you'll get advantage because of the hay. Right, what I need to try and do.
Can I just double check? Did I get the feather? Have I got a feather?
Well, we're going to see if you've made a dexterity check to avoid waking.
Oh, me?
Sleeping. All of you.
All of us.
Oh, right.
With
Sorry.
advantage.
Yeah, John, I think you might have done a save rather than a check.
Yeah, you want a stealth check.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, and it's meant to be with advantage, isn't it? Whoops.
Stealth with advantage, please.
So it's just click on the word dexterity.
No, stealth check.
Okay, well.
Stealth check.
Click on stealth, the skill,
All right.
with advantage.
Well, my modifier for stealth is my dex mod, so yeah,
Yeah,
20.
same.
Okay, it's the 18 for Benjin, 20. Yeah. So you managed to land quietly and slowly creep around the sleeping chimera.
Okay, then I guess I'll look at the other guys and like gesture across the walkway, assuming that's the only obvious way to go any further.
That's the only exit. All that's around here is just kind of cloud stuff all around the outside of the tower, and then this walkway leading out.
I'll just gesture like along the walkway, and then just go like, shh. Do 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 do.
Do.
Do do do.
Okay, are you gonna move your character tokens?
All right.
Yeah.
Zoom.
So I'm picking up a eagle feather on the way past.
Okay, giant eagle feather.
Does it? Yeah, I guess. Are there normal eagle feathers?
No, they're just giant ones. They're all about, a normal eagle feather might be like 6 inches. These are like 18 inches long.
18 inches long. That's. I can use part of it later on. I don't have to. Yeah, I'll pick up. Yeah, an eagle feather.
Okay, so you head to the walkway, and the walkway is kind of open to the elements.
Keep my options open.
Up to this giant, this huge castle ahead of you, and you can just make out 2 double doors ahead of you. They say just make out at the end of the walkway is these massive double doors. So I should do this. What are you doing, chaps?
Well,
Move up to the doors, I guess.
yeah.
Okay.
We were sent here to sneak in and take a look, right? To talk to them, to try and talk to them without too much of a ruckus.
No, we were sent in, I thought, to do some reconnaissance and not to them unless we got caught.
Yeah, I was under impression it was reconnaissance.
I thought it was only talk to them if we basically got caught and had to, and then only barter on behalf of the town if things looked like they were going extremely well. Otherwise, we had nothing to do with the city.
Oh yes.
That was my understanding.
So, assuming that
So
we
we're
can't,
hiding.
assuming we can't see any other way past these doors, like there's no way to get round them or anything like that.
No, there doesn't appear to be no.
What?
And they're full-size door, full giant-sized doors. They haven't got
giant-sized-
little servants.
No, they're
Size hole in it now.
huge giant-sized doors. Yeah.
Who's got the little dingy chime to?
Yeah. Zanhorn will get the little triangle, whatever it is, and be like, before he does that,
Griffin.
actually,
Don't wake the.
is it? If I try the
Yeah,
door
I can.
very gently, does it move? Does it feel like it's locked?
It feels like it is not locked.
Then I will just, as quietly as I can, try and eke it open and see what we can see through the crack.
Hang on 1 minute. I'm just going to get out of my bag before. Can I put a small amount of oil on the hinges just so that it doesn't squeak?
Yeah,
please.
you can. And
I have a thing of oil.
Although the door is heavy, it swings open quite easily, and it reveals basically what looks like it's a round tower with another set of double doors on the other side, and a spiral staircase leading up into the tower. But the room itself appears to be some kind of cloakroom. There's hooks on the wall with giant-sized cloaks. There's boots. There's riding gear, like saddles and such like, on the walls.
Are these boots like the sort of size that me and Zanhorn and Cenza could live in? Is it like the old woman who lost a shoe?
No, they're not quite that big. So if you think you could probably step into one of the boots, and you'd have trouble looking out over the top of it.
And die because the smell would be sitting inside the boot and we'd be in the whole boot.
Looks like a good place to hide if we need one.
Yeah.
And I'll look up at the stairs, look at the door, like up, across, up.
So is it bad? Is it bad that Benjin's thinking if he'd had a couple of drinks, he'd be tempted to just like push a boot off the side of the
Zanhorn will try and muffle his sniggering. but he'll be like, on the way out, we should definitely try that. Okay, I will sneak over towards the bottom of the stairs and see if, like, as cautiously as I can, start to try and look at what we might be able to see up there.
So you can't really see much because it's a spiral staircase curving up.
Yep.
You can't see what's up the stairs from the bottom.
Can I start to ascend it, keeping an ear open for anything that's...
Yep. You can't hear any noise coming from upstairs.
Okay.
Do you head further up?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the second floor of the tower there. I can do. Okay. So what you have is a simple table and chairs. However, they are giant sized, so to accommodate someone of 20 foot, 25 foot in height. And slumped over the desk is a giant. Kind of head on the desk, with its back to you, arms limp at its sides.
Does he look asleep, dead, or drunk?
From this distance, it's hard to tell.
Okay.
Does it look like the desk's got any information on it? Or is it just nothing there?
There's some paper. You can see some paperwork on the desk. You can't see what it is from this distance because it's...
I'll signal to the other guys, like, I could sneak over there, take the papers, and then we go back.
So Benjin's just going to go, hold on. Tie his shoelaces together.
Seems risky. Zanhor would just be like, yeah, okay. And then start sneaking across, like, obviously no intention to try that.
Okay, make a stuff check. You don't get advantage, of course.
Bardic Inspiration, would that actually be able to add to this? It's just an attack, isn't it?
Bardic Inspiration will add to anything where you roll a d20, so it's a skill check or an attack.
I will just hum myself very, very quietly in my head. A little Bardic Inspiration. So, let's give this a shot. Oh, yes.
Oh.
Even with advantage.
Oh, yeah, turn advantage off.
Okay, so yeah, you managed to sneak forward without any kind of indication that he spotted you. He remains completely motionless.
If I look at the papers, do they look? Do I recognise anything on them? Can I read it or anything like that?
Can you read giant?
No.
Then it's completely incomprehensible to you.
Then I will.
I can read giant.
I will try and take the papers. And then is he like lying on there or anything, or are they just on the desk?
No, his arms are slumped down his side,
Right,
so his
okay.
head's on the desk, but his arms are at his side.
Then I will try and take the papers as sneakily as I can.
Okay, so you managed to pull the papers from underneath, and there's no sign of any movement from him at all.
While I'm there, does it look alive? Is it breathing?
Make a medicine check. It's hard to tell because you don't really know anything about giant physiology.
Okay, can I sneak forward and attempt a medicine check?
Okay, make a stealth check and then a medicine check.
I'll be sneaking back at this point, like, what are you doing? I've got the papers.
So 12. Okay, do I get there? Okay.
Okay, yeah, you get there and he doesn't make any movement at all.
Oh,
Medicine. So, as far as you're aware, giants have a very similar physiology to humans. You know, lungs, hearts, that kind of thing. This thing is not breathing and doesn't appear to have a pulse.
The one time Sanor make a bloody stealth check. Okay. He
You
stealth
were
past
just
a dead
stealthy
giant.
against the corner.
Brilliant.
This changes things.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if he's obviously dead, let's see if we can work out what killed it.
Yeah. What type of giant is he?
It is a cloud giant.
Cloud giant. So
Based
that's one
on
of
the based on the documentation you've been told, it's a cloud giant. So
Okay, that's one of the ones that's fairly high up the ordering then.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you can gather that, but when you'd seen if he was standing and just without being slumped, he'd be about 23 to 25 feet tall, something like that.
Okay.
He's got greyish skin. He's very well dressed. You know, the clothing is very fine. You know, and it's kind of like best way to describe it would be similar to either a noble crossed with like a Roman or Greek toga kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's a fashion that you're familiar with. It's not something that you would see on the ground, but very, very fine clothing.
Obviously, freshly dead if we didn't smell it.
Yes.
Is there any?
Doesn't take long.
Can
Is
I
there
have a
any
read
wound?
of the quick read of the papers and
Yeah, I'll
see?
hand them to you.
It
Whilst-
appears to be a log of supplies for the airy, so food and cleaning rotas and things like that.
Okay, I'll just explain that to the others.
Okay.
Say it's just like an inventory of stuff.
So the one time I managed to snuck past a dead giant to retrieve basically
A shopping list.
the shopping list.
Can
Sandhorn's
I have
gonna
another
really
check of
crestfallen
him?
at this point.
So can I have another check of him to try and determine the cause of death?
Make another medicine check.
Another medicine check.
You
Boom.
can't find any kind of wounds. So there is no kind of puncture wounds or blood or anything like that. There is a drink next to him, and judging by the kind of drool and the coloration of the lips, you think it was probably poison.
Yikes.
Great. I bought none of my spells, which
That's
protect from
lucky, 'cause
poison or
Benjin
detect
saw-
poison.
Benjin saw the barrel and was about to give it a go.
This doesn't look good.
No. I'm gonna do like our friend in the other game. Can we just check? Is there anything of value on him, or anything of interest on him?
Yes.
Seeing as we don't seem to have got much for a while. He's flicking through the book. It could be interesting. We keep forgetting to raid the dead body, don't we?
We don't forget. Every time we have a smaller, fight where there's actually something of reasonable significance left behind, it's got like skin, a club.
You find a small pouch on it which contains some coinage. However, they're copper coins, but they're giant-sized
Okay.
copper coins. So each one's like the size of a saucer, or
God.
a drinks coaster would probably be a better description of the
Okay.
size.
Okay.
Do we want to take it or?
Well, it's not going to be much use to him.
How big is it? Because
Yeah. How big's the pouch?
There's probably about 40 of these large copper pieces in there.
Each the size of a saucer. So we're talking about
So-
putting
That's
a
going to be
dinner
pretty damn
set.
big.
Each the size of, say, a drinks coaster might be a better description.
Think
So it's what you. To him, it's like a belt pouch, but to you, it's a sack.
Right.
Might as well take a few.
Sack of copper. Hmm.
Didn't sound like we were going to get paid much down there, so we might as well get paid more up here.
Don't know if we can trade it in anywhere, but okay.
Metal's always valuable to someone.
Copper's copper.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to record it in my? I'll just record it in the back of my bio then. 40 giant copper coins, and we'll do something with it later.
40 GCPs.
Everything's big. So I've got a giant eagle feather for coins.
Yep.
So like the eagle feather might not metagaming, but the eagle in handy.
Is there anything else around in the room that is of interest?
No, it just appears to be a very simple office, really.
Let's head down.
Down? Is there not
Down.
further? Is there not a further upstairs?
No, it's just a 2-level tower.
Before we do, are there any windows up here? Can we see out over the castle anywhere?
Yeah, well, the windows lead. The windows are out to the direction you just come up
Okay.
from. So it's leading out to the clouds below and the Eyrie.
Okay.
I think, gents, we're being about 10:15. We might have to stop it there.
I thought this was a shopping episode. We haven't even been shopping.
No.
We on about? We got loads of diamonds.
When you say we,
Well, they'll be useful next time you die.
yeah, I was going to say I'll probably eat them, won't I?
Cool.
So, I think it's time to cut right to a close, chaps.
Hmm. Good game, good game.
Just
Okay.
because I think that seems to be an opportune place to stop it.
Sounds reasonable.
Hmm.
Then we should bid our listeners and watchers, which possibly is just me viewing the feed, but I've no doubt this will be very popular on YouTube sometime in the future. So, good night, people.
Good night.
See you
Thank you,
soon.
bye.
Good guy.